Hey everyone, and welcome back to AI Podcast. We are diving into DeepSeek R1 today, an AI model that's really been shaking things up in the tech world lately.
Yeah, it's been turning a lot of heads.
It has, and for good reason. It's a product of DeepSeek, a Chinese AI startup, and we're going to break down exactly what makes this model so fascinating, especially for all you out there who are, really interested in AI and where it's all going. So, what is DeepSeek R1?
Well, it's an AI model that's really built with reasoning power in mind and cost efficiency.
Okay.
We're talking about potentially changing the game in terms of who can actually use advanced AI.
And it's open source.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, right?
Oh,
In the AI world.
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Open source AI at this, caliber. Practically unheard of. I mean, usually the big players, they keep these models under lock and key. So DeepSeek making R1 open source, it's a pretty bold move.
It is. It is. Okay, so let's get kind of technical for a second.
Mm,
DeepSeek R1 is built on this mixture of experts architecture,
right.
MOE for short.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how does that work in practice?
Well, imagine, a library, a massive library filled with books on just every subject imaginable. That's DeepSeek R1's potential. But instead of reading every single book for every single task, the MOE architecture lets it pick and choose the info it needs. So it boasts a stunning 671 billion parameters.
Wow.
Think of those as pieces of knowledge, but only about 37 billion are active at any given time. And this selective activation is what makes it so efficient.
So it's like having like a team of specialized experts, and they're ready to, tackle whatever problem comes up.
Exactly. Like you've got a brain surgeon, a rocket scientist, and a master chef all on call, but you only call the one you need for the job.
Right there.
you know, and this is a big difference from how traditional AI models work. Those try to be a jack of all trades,
Right.
even if it means, not being great at any one thing.
And this efficiency, it leads to some serious cost savings, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you compare it to models like OpenAI's O1.
Absolutely. DeepSeek claims that R1 can operate at about 5% of the cost of O1. That's not just a small discount. That's huge. The possibilities this opens up for researchers, for startups, individuals, it's incredible. People who could never even think about using this type of AI because of the cost.
That's huge EE. 5%. That's mind-blowing. But how did DeepSeek manage to make it so cost efficient? Is it all because of this MOE architecture?
It's definitely a big factor, but there's more to it. DeepSeek, they optimized the training process on 3 different levels. First, they did some really clever hardware optimization. They used 2048 of NVIDIA's H800 GPUs, run for 55 days straight.
Wow.
Second, they used a 3-stage training approach. It starts with supervised fine-tuning, using cold start data.
Okay.
Then they move on to reinforcement learning using GRPO.
GRPO, no, what is that?
That's a generalized proximal policy optimization. Essentially, it's a way of training AI to make decisions in really complex situations. It learns from its mistakes, gets rewarded for good choices, penalized for the bad ones. And this helps it get better at making decisions over time.
Got it, got it. So where does this GRPO fit into the whole training process?
Well, after that initial supervised fine-tuning, the GRPO stage, that helps DeepSeek R1 to develop this deeper understanding of how to solve problems and achieve its goals. Finally, they finish things up with one more round of supervised fine-tuning, but this time it's with data that the model generated itself during that GRPO stage.
Oh, so it's learning from its own experiences.
Exactly. This self-generated data is super relevant to the tasks that the model is going to be performing, so it makes it perform better, more efficient.
So we've got this hardware optimization, and we've got this innovative 3-stage training process.
Right.
What's the third thing? What else makes DeepSeek R1 so cost-effective?
The third thing, and this might be the most important one, is that it's open source. Open source development means that a global community of developers can contribute their expertise, their code, even computing resources to the project.
So it's not just DeepSeek carrying the whole weight of development.
Right. It's a group effort. This not only makes development faster, it also cuts costs massively compared to those traditional closed source models. They're tapping into the brain power of the entire AI community.
That's smart. Okay, so how does DeepSeek R1 compare to the, I guess you could call it the current AI darling, OpenAI's O1?
That is the question on everybody's mind, right? It's like David and Goliath, but DeepSeek R1 isn't backing down. It's actually matching O1 in a lot of key areas, things like logical inference and complex problem solving.
So it's going head-to-head with a real heavyweight.
It is.
Are there any areas where DeepSeek pulls ahead?
Two big ones, actually, and they go right back to what we've been talking about. Cost efficiency and accessibility. DeepSeek R1 can achieve similar performance, but at a fraction of the cost. It's a huge disruption.
It's unbelievable. 5% of the cost.
Yeah, it's crazy. It changes everything, for all sorts of industries. And then there's accessibility. Remember, DeepSeek R1 is open source. This
Okay,
means anyone can use it. You can modify it, you can build on it. No crazy licensing fees, no hoops to jump through just to use the technology.
that's got to be a game changer, especially for smaller companies, startups who maybe couldn't afford to play with this type of cutting-edge AI before.
It levels the playing field completely. It opens up all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, a small team of developers in India being able to use DeepSeek R1 to build some groundbreaking new app.
Yeah, okay.
That's the kind of impact we're talking about.
That's the kind of impact we're talking about. Yeah. And speaking of impact, DeepSeek R1 has sent some shockwaves through the stock market.
Oh, yeah.
Major tech companies are feeling the heat. We'll
Definitely.
talk about that right after this quick break.
Yeah, companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, Meta, even NVIDIA, their stock prices have taken a hit, and it's not that hard to see why.
I mean, yeah, you can imagine this is causing them some real anxiety in the boardrooms of these tech giants.
For sure, it's challenging their whole business model,
Yeah.
A lot of them rely on proprietary AI, and DeepSeek R1 is kind of like offering a gourmet meal, but at fast food prices.
Right.
Makes those premium offerings seem a lot less appealing all of a sudden.
So how do you think these companies are going to respond? Are we going to see them clinging even tighter to their closed source models, or will we see a shift, towards more open source stuff?
It's tough to say for sure, but I think it'll probably be a mix of both. Some will definitely hold on for dear life to their, proprietary edge, hoping that brand recognition and all that existing infrastructure is enough to, ride this out. But others, I think, will realize the tide is turning and they got to embrace open source if they want to stay competitive. We might even see more partnerships popping up as companies try to figure out this new landscape.
Interesting. It will be fascinating to see how it all unfolds. But let's zoom in on one company specifically, NVIDIA. They're in a pretty unique position, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. NVIDIA is the big dog when it comes to GPUs, those powerful chips that are essential for AI training. DeepSeek R1 relies heavily on those H800 GPUs from NVIDIA, which is great news for them in the short term.
Right. It kind of solidifies their grip on the hardware market.
Exactly. But there's also a potential downside for them. DeepSeek R1's cost efficiency comes partly from really squeezing the most out of those GPUs, and this could end up meaning less demand for their high-end, most expensive products down the line.
So bit of a double-edged sword for NVIDIA.
Exactly. Very complex situation. They'll need to adapt if they want to keep growing in this AI world that's changing so fast. But let's step back for a sec. The implications of DeepSeek R1 go way beyond just, the stock market and big tech. This has the potential to truly democratize AI in a way we've never seen before.
It's almost like, back in the early days of personal computers, suddenly everyone could have one in their home. It revolutionized everything.
Right.
How we work, communicate, even think.
That's a really great comparison. DeepSeek R1 can do that for AI tools, make them accessible to way more people. Small businesses, researchers, even just hobbyists.
So it's not just about the big companies and research labs anymore.
Nope, not at all. Imagine a small business owner being able to use DeepSeek R1 to build super personalized marketing campaigns or to, automate their customer service, or a student using it to create a language learning app that's, perfectly tailored to their needs. The possibilities are really endless.
That's exciting. It feels like we're on the edge of a whole new era of AI development.
We are, and think about the impact on overall adoption. When the cost and complexity go down, we're going to see a surge of creativity, innovation, people finding totally new and unexpected ways to use AI. It could lead to breakthroughs in areas we haven't even thought of yet.
It's like giving someone this amazing toolkit and saying, go build something awesome.
Exactly. And because DeepSeek R1 is open source, it's going to make this even bigger. That collaborative spirit of open source, it's going to mean faster progress, people sharing what they know, a wider range of applications.
I'm particularly interested in what this could mean for Indian startups. India's got this booming tech scene, and I'm really curious to see how DeepSeek R1 might accelerate their growth.
India's already a powerhouse for AI, and DeepSeek R1 could supercharge that. Indian startups, they're known for being super resourceful and finding solutions for their, local challenges. But give them access to a tool like this, a powerful, cost-effective model like DeepSeek R1, and they could create solutions that benefit not just India, but the whole world.
Just giving them, a superpower.
Kinda, yeah. And what's great is that those benefits, they'll spread. As Indian startups find success, they'll create jobs, attract investment, inspire a whole new generation of, entrepreneurs. Everybody wins.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from the nuts and bolts of how DeepSeek R1 works to its potential impact on the whole global AI scene.
It's been
It has.
Yeah.
And,
Let's do
this is where we turn it over to our listeners. Now that powerful AI is becoming more affordable and easier to get, what possibilities do you see?
Right. What can you build with a tool like DeepSeek R1?
Yeah.
Think about solving those real-world problems, the things that seemed impossible before, because of the cost or the complexity.
It's like we're giving everyone the keys to this incredible workshop and saying, go create something amazing.
Right.
Maybe an AI tutor that can personalize learning for each student,
Right.
or a system that helps us make, more eco-friendly choices every day.
What about a platform that connects, rural communities with healthcare,
Yeah.
using AI to diagnose and recommend treatments?
The possibilities they really are endless.
Mm.
And we're just at the beginning. I mean, who knows what incredible breakthroughs are right around the corner.
I can't wait to see, and I know our listeners are excited to be a part of it. So to everyone out there listening, explore, experiment, push the boundaries of what AI can do.
Don't be afraid to dream big.
Hmm.
The next big AI breakthrough could come from any one of you. And speaking of breakthroughs, join us tomorrow evening for another AI podcast Deep Dive.